Hi there, students. A watershed. Well, I guess it could be a shed full of water, but no. A watershed is a critical point in a process, a turning point, a defining moment that defines how something will develop. It's like a dividing line in the course of events, or how something grows and changes in time. Okay, the original meaning of watershed, or the base meaning, not original, the basic meaning, is an area of land where all the water is caught from a river. So if you have two mountains, then you have an area here which is the watershed. It's the area where all the water drains. The watershed can also be a high ridge, a high line of land that separates the direction where the water flows. So a watershed could separate a river into two different watersheds, two different catchment areas. So the water flows, and some of it flows down this side and some of it flows down that side. Okay, so for example, the Andes are a watershed in Latin America because they are high mountains, and the water can either flow down this way and be caught in this area, or it can flow down this way and be caught in a different area. And that's the basic meaning. But we use watershed metaphorically to talk about a critical point, a turning point, where something can develop in one way or another. So, for example, I think Brexit will be a watershed in relations between the UK and the European Union. Okay? It's a defining moment. The suffragette movement and votes for women. Maybe this was a watershed in the development of a true democracy. If it hadn't happened, perhaps our society would have developed in a different way. Maybe finding my channel was a watershed in the development of your English. It was an important defining moment. Okay? The company's decision to go green was a watershed moment for the company, because they maybe lost some of their old clients due to price, but they gained many new clients who wanted to care for the environment. The promotion that she got was a watershed in her career, and finally she became CEO, Chief Executive Officer of the company. This decision was a watershed in my life. It defined how my life developed after that point. Okay, so a watershed is like a turning point where things could go one way or they could go another. You make a decision and alia jacta est, the die is cast. The way something develops will have been decided. Okay, so it's an event that significantly influences the outcome of something. For example, maybe the appearance of life, of unicellular life, was a watershed in the development of planet Earth. Notice, in the UK, they also use this phrase, the watershed, to talk about television. And the watershed is the cut-off time where After that, they can show programs that are not suitable for children. Before the watershed, all the programs must be suitable for children. And then I think at 9 o'clock, children are deemed to have gone to bed, and then they can show more adult programs. So, watershed. If you look, to shed means to give off. The snake sheds its skin. To slough off. That's quite a word. Slough. S-L-O-U-G-H. Okay, so the watershed, it's the mountain bit which or mountainous bit which decides which way the water is going to flow. But then we use that metaphorically, talking about a dividing line or a turning point where the subsequent development and course of something is changed. So, it's a noun, remember, a watershed. Now, what about formality? I think this word's probably slightly formal. I think you could use it in an informal conversation in the pub. Meeting her was a watershed in my life. But I think you might more probably use a turning point or a defining moment. I think I'd probably give it 6 in formality, maybe even 6.5. I think probably 6. Okay, so it's good for formal writings and things like that. Okay, so let's just go over it again. The watershed, a catchment area of water where all the water of a particular area drains. The separating point which defines in which direction or into which catchment area water will drain. And then a defining moment that influences very significantly a course of events or the way something continues to develop. So there you go, watershed. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Watershed.